Welcome. Please stand if you are able. The stage party is being led by the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Robert Jones. Please remain standing. The posting of the colors is being performed by Company C4 of the Clemson University Pershing Rifles. It will be followed by the singing of our national anthem, led by Kevin Arnold, Senior in Performing Arts.
Halt! Go! Order! All! Left! Face! Post!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home
Please be seated. I hereby open Clemson University's doctoral hooding ceremony. I now invite Dr. John Lopes, Dean of the Graduate School, to the podium.
Thank you, Provost Jones. Good evening. We're excited about our first speaker because he is one of the 84 students graduating with us this evening. We're always looking for ways to put our students at the center of everything we do. So we decided to begin a tradition of a graduate address at the hooding ceremony. This is the very first doctoral student address. Each semester, the faculty will nominate graduating doctoral students to create drafts of a speech, and then a committee of graduate students and postdoctoral scholars chooses the student who will speak to the class. I could not be any more honored to introduce soon-to-be Dr. Taneen Haydari.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start with congratulating the doctoral graduates. You have worked hard, demonstrating that you can complete innovative research, and most importantly, concluded using empirical data. It's also an honor to take this opportunity to show my gratitude to all of our advisors, and especially to my advisor, Dr. Dennis Bausman. His capabilities are essentially the bedrock of our partnership. Sir, I could not have asked for a better mentor, philosopher, and guide. I also thank all the family members, friends, and colleagues who have come to celebrate this wonderful day. Your support and encouragement along the way have been a source of inspiration to us. My fellow graduates, we stumble upon impossible dreams for different reasons. But once we choose to accept the challenge, our motivations to achieve them are more or less the same. My name is Taneen Ahmad Haydari. I am from Afghanistan. As I speak 7,000 miles away, far in the east, my father must be remembering me while completing his morning prayers. My mother, even though she is battling illness, must be preparing to welcome guests to celebrate my doctorate. To me, today is not about my accomplishments. It's about those of my parents. It's about their hard work, sacrifices, perseverance, grit, and absolute honesty. I was a few months old when my family and I migrated to Pakistan in 1993. My father sometimes tells me the reality of grappling with a sense of urgency, something that one internalizes when living in war zones. He tells me that the choice to migrate to Pakistan was more about surviving, not about a search for a better future. Think about it. The freedom of choice they had was so narrow that they could only think about day-to-day survival. They could not afford to even think of a secure future. But the challenges of providing security and food for a family brought out the best in my parents. My father learned electrical science and taught himself television repairing to support our family. My mother juggled family and her work as a doctor in refugee camps. They could barely make a living, no matter how hard they worked. New shoes and a good dinner once a year at the end of Ramadan were the only luxuries that my siblings and I would get. For my parents, perhaps it was only our smiles. To put this very smile on my parents' faces has been my motivation to chase impossible dreams. From a refugee in the bureaus of Islamabad to becoming an engineer in Kabul to being here wearing this regalia, I dedicate my honors to my parents and to every mother and every father who shares the spirit of parenthood. Likewise, we must honor those who were not parents, but still guided us, motivated us, helped us get here today. Thank you for making us capable of chasing our dreams. And thank you to the people of Clemson University. You accepted me, welcomed me, celebrated with me, and most importantly, you enabled me to be the reason for my family and friends to smile. My friends, before I leave, I'll share with you the secret of my journey so far. With every step taken towards achieving my goals, I remind myself of what my father once told me. The road to success is always under construction. To me, that means we must remain hopeful and humble. In remaining hopeful, we know that the road towards success can always be constructed. And in remaining humble, we know that no matter how many roads we build, there will always be more to be built. Thank you. And as always, go Tigers.
Thank you, Tanin. Not only have you made your parents proud, you make us all proud to be a part of your journey. I want to thank all the student nominees who obviously took great care writing their entries as well. I would have been proud to have any of them up here tonight, and honestly, I'm really happy I didn't have to decide. Now I'm happy to introduce Dr. Tia Dumas, Associate Dean of the Graduate School, who will recognize 3 of our award winners this evening. Here.
Good evening. I have one of the best jobs here tonight because I get to talk about a few of the amazing people who help students scale the mountain that is a doctoral degree. Our first award this evening is the Distinguished Graduate Student Support Staff Award. I'm happy to present this award to Laura Kennard, Student Services Coordinator in the Department of Materials Science and Engineering. While she is extremely capable of the administrative duties of her job, what makes Laura stand out is her commitment and connection to the department's graduate students and their well-being. Her department chair points out that, quote, "The position of Student Services Coordinator is one of the toughest on campus, often at the front lines of problems which need immediate attention," end quote. More than one of her nomination letters described an incident where a graduate student was at a painfully low point, feeling helpless. When Laura became involved and got the students various kinds of support that allowed them to turn things around. One student said, quote, "Seeking her help was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and as a result, I am happier and have academically flourished more than I ever thought possible," end quote. On behalf of the many graduate students she has supported, and the many more she will no doubt support in the future, we present to Laura Kennard the Distinguished Graduate Student Support Staff Award. Our next award is the Distinguished Doctoral Mentoring Award, and we are lucky enough to have 2 recipients this year. Our first, Dr. Hai Yao, is the Ernest R. Norville Endowed Chair in Biomedical Engineering and a professor in the Department of Bioengineering. His research lab is located in Clemson as part of the university's joint bioengineering program with the Medical University of South Carolina. He has graduated 12 PhD students in bioengineering and mentored 12 postdoctoral trainees, in addition to many master's students and summer interns. He has served as the major research advisor to 12 MUSC graduate researchers and 37 summer trainees as well. But of course, distinguished mentoring goes far beyond the numbers. One former student mentored by Dr. Yao from her undergraduate days to her current role of professor says, quote, "Dr. Yao puts the mentee at the center, and it is his expectation that his mentees surpass him," end quote. Another says, quote, "Dr. Yao was extremely dedicated to working with me and passing on all he knows in terms of knowledge, research tradition, the academic network, and so much more. His mentorship, quote, helps the mentees explore their inner strength and leverage it to seek their own destinies," end quote. Dr. Yao, we present to you the Distinguished Doctoral Mentoring Award. Our second Distinguished Doctoral Mentoring Award this evening goes to Dr. Laurie Dickes. Dr. Dickes is the director of the Masters of Public Administration program and an associate professor of political science. In addition to running a large and complex master's program, one colleague pointed out she has, quote, developed a remarkable track record of mentoring doctoral students, most notably chairing a majority of recent dissertation committees in the Policy Studies PhD program, end quote. Another says, quote, "Thanks to her advice and encouragement, students don't just finish their degrees, they also forge connections across campus, the state of South Carolina, and broader communities of scholars and practitioners. Above all, they learn how to think for themselves and apply their expertise to solving pertinent problems in the real world." One student graduating tonight says that Dr. Dickes, quote, "has consistently shown interest in my personal success. She has contributed immensely to my professional growth by exposing me to projects that have honed my research and writing skills and to people that have expanded my professional network. There is no doubt that Dr. Dickes is one of the finest advisors that Clemson University has," end quote. Dr. Dickes, please do us the honor of accepting this Distinguished Doctoral Mentoring Award. Congratulations to our award recipients, and on behalf of the university, thank you for your commitment to our students and their success.
This ceremony highlights the critical role of faculty members and department chairs, each of whom spent countless hours working to help you get here today. Without them, none of us would be here today. Please help me to thank them for their excellence and tireless work. So let me introduce our stage party. I'd like to ask each of them to stand as their name is called. As I read each of your names, please stand and remain standing so that we can acknowledge you. I ask the audience, please hold applause until I introduce everyone. Dr. James P. Clements, President of Clemson University. Dr. Robert Jones, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. Dr. James Burns, Associate Dean of the College of Architecture, Arts, and Humanities. Dr. Rachel Mayo, Associate Dean in the College of Behavioral, Social, and Health Sciences. Dr. Carl Hollingsworth, Associate Dean in the College of Business. Dr. Michelle Cook, Associate Dean in the College of Education. Dr. Steve Krager, Associate Dean in the College of Science. Dr. Paula Agudelo, Associate Dean in the College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Life Sciences. Dr. Oliver Myers, Associate Dean in the College of Engineering, Computing, and Applied Sciences. Dr. Brian Dominy, Associate Dean in the Graduate School. Dr. William Farrell, Associate Dean in the Graduate School. Dr. Tia Dumas, Associate Dean in the Graduate School. Dr. Lee Gill, our Chief Diversity Officer and Special Assistant to the President for Inclusive Excellence. Dr. Chris Miller, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. Dr. Kimberly Poole, Associate Dean of Students. Dr. John Whitcomb, past President of the Faculty Senate. Dr. Sue Wharton, outgoing President of the Staff Senate. And our student speaker, Taneen Hydri. Please join me in thanking them for their service and leadership. Well, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to the May 2021 doctoral hooding ceremony, including the many students, family, and friends who are watching the live stream of today's event. We're so glad that you can join us for this special celebration. One of the best aspects of working in academia is that we all get to be part of some of the happiest and most important moments, important days of your lives, including graduations. Somehow, this graduation seems even more special than most. Few people will ever engage in the kind of protracted effort required to earn a doctorate. In fact, I equate it to running a marathon and finishing it with an all-out sprint in the final mile. But you had an additional challenge in that final mile that none of us had anticipated, yet it did not slow you down one bit. We are, impressed and inspired by the way you overcame every unprecedented obstacle in the past year. And just think of the great stories you'll be able to tell about what you had to do to finish your degree. Your grandparent walking to school uphill both ways in the snow will pale by comparison to this. Of course, you are much more than the events that made your last year so challenging. You are shining examples of three elements that make Clemson the university it is: extraordinary scholarship, educational excellence, and unselfish service. At the core of any top university is rigorous scholarship and research. And Clemson is no different. I'm sure you know that in 2015, Clemson attained a new and highly coveted recognition, the R1 research status by the Carnegie Foundation. What you may not realize is that the research you and your colleagues perform is the most important determinant in attaining and maintaining that R1 status. Most of you are members of the first doctoral cohorts admitted after Clemson became an R1 institution. You can always lay claim to the fact that your research contributes to Clemson being included among the top-tier research institutions in the nation. As doctoral students, you also develop teaching skills that will be integral to your future success. This year, I sat in on 4 courses taught by your colleagues, and they were exceptional, with state-of-the-art pedagogy and engaging instruction. The teaching skills demonstrated by those and all of our graduate teaching assistants and instructors of record are an important contributor to Clemson's excellent reputation for undergraduate education. One of the instructors in these courses sits among you today and is on his way to a faculty position at a prestigious private institution in New England. We are also extremely proud of your service to the university, your colleagues, and all Clemson students. You work tirelessly on myriad student department, college, and university committees. You mentored students in creative inquiry projects. You served communities in the state of South Carolina. Service is a hallmark of leadership, and you are true leaders. So here we are at this special event, the kind of event where it's natural to reflect on what has changed over time and what hasn't. As an aside, speaking of things that haven't changed, I did some research and discovered that we have been inflicting the GS2 form on graduate students since 1967. Might be time for a change. But many other things have changed for the better. As a doctoral student, I always carried a lot of quarters because I would spend absurd amounts of time in the library photocopying journal articles one page at a time. You don't have to carry change. You can simply download a PDF onto your phone. When I produced my dissertation, I had to pay an experienced word processor, that's a person, not an application, to actually type up my dissertation. I had to print several copies on expensive cotton bond paper, get it bound, and ship it to various locations where it sat on shelves. Now, here's a copy of my dissertation. I carry it with me everywhere I go. I'm quite serious. You just never know if someone's going to ask the question, are you a real doctor? Now, your copy is in the cloud, where it can be accessed by researchers all over the world with a few keystrokes. Now, I know what you're thinking. This guy is old. And that hurts a little, but you're not wrong. But here's something to think about. 30 years from now, you might be the old one up here on stage, and the students sitting where you're sitting will think that your experience is antiquated. They'll think, wow, they used to have to download PDFs. And what was this cloud thing? And why did it care how many photos you took with your phone? So the point of this reflection is that people on stage, your advisors, and the faculty all contributed to and led advances that have gotten us to where we are now. Now it's your turn. Whatever happens from here is up to you. Now, I know you've been focused on your dissertation work, and you're rightly proud of that work. It will serve as a foundation for others to build on and can never be erased. But more importantly, what happened while you were working so hard is that you acquired a toolbox of essential skills. Just take a minute to think about who you were when you came to Clemson, and then think about who you are now. Do you see the difference? The competence and confidence you acquired, the ability to collaborate, to solve complex problems, and communicate important information to broad audiences, and most of all, how to serve others through leadership. We know you will use this toolbox to improve the world we live in. Yes, we're excited for you in this moment, but we're even more excited to see what you do next. We're so happy that your journey took you through Clemson University, and know that Clemson will always be your home. We will remember you. Please stay in touch because we look forward to hearing about your future successes. My heartfelt congratulations. Go Tigers! So it's now my great pleasure to again introduce our Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost of Clemson University, and an overall nice guy, Dr. Robert H. Jones. Do you need this?
Thank you very much, Dean Lopes. Hello, everybody. I'm exceedingly pleased to join you at this very, very special event. But first, let me cover a couple of housekeeping items here. Each graduate will come up on the stage with their major advisor or designee, if present, and both will proceed to the marks. They're on the floor right in front of me here, where the president will greet you and have a photo taken with you, and he will be leaving a pin for you there as well. We are focused on ensuring safety by adhering to physical distancing. That is why we're providing a pin placed on the table by the president. After receiving the pin and having a photo taken, the graduate and major advisor or designee will leave the stage for an additional photo at the end of the ramp right over there. I'd like to share some perspectives on an important person in your life, the major advisor. For some doctoral students, especially those earning a PhD, the major advisor is an accomplished faculty member of great importance. Together, the advisor and students spend many, many hours together creating new knowledge and sharing it with the academic community and with the public. As you can imagine, their relationship is very strong. It's the core of the student's doctoral education, and it's often the student's most important starting point for a career. For all doctoral students, several faculty, in addition to the major advisor, also provide significant advice and guidance. It truly takes a village to support each of the graduates here today. Clemson University is grateful for the efforts of our faculty advisors and proud of the successes that they and our doctoral students achieve together. It is now my great honor to introduce a very strong advocate for graduate education and faculty, a national leader in higher education, and very fortunately for us, the president of Clemson University, Dr. James P. Clements, who will officially confer today's degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, and thank you for the great job you are doing as our Executive Vice President and Provost. Would you please help me thank him for his leadership over the academic enterprise? Well, good evening, go Tigers. Good evening, go Tigers. I'm so honored to be here with you tonight on this very special day in your life. And let me just start by saying right off the bat how proud I am of you. Welcome to our doctoral hooding ceremony. I do know that your doctoral career at Clemson didn't end the way that any of us had planned, but I'm really glad just that we're able to gather here tonight. Many universities canceled their graduation ceremonies. Others held their ceremonies online. But at Clemson, we are different. We wanted you to have a ceremony. We wanted to have a ceremony for our 2021 graduates because you deserve it. We felt that it was important for us to present you with this opportunity to walk across the stage and properly mark this very important milestone in your life. Today we celebrate your hard work and your accomplishments and the value and importance of graduate education at Clemson. Today we recognize the contributions that you've made through your research that is driving innovation, generating new ideas, and expanding the knowledge base of Clemson and the world. As you know very well, doctoral education is a very lengthy, very challenging, and very demanding process. But you did it, and you had a lot of help and a lot of support along the way. So let's take a moment to recognize the family members and friends who nurtured you and supported you and who helped to make this day possible. To all of the moms and the dads, the spouses and grandparents, children, siblings, aunts and uncles and friends who are here with you today, you honor us and these graduates with your presence. We owe each of you special thanks for the important role that you played in helping these amazing scholars achieve this remarkable goal. Would you please help me recognize those family members who are here? And since this upcoming weekend is Mother's Day, I felt it was appropriate for me to acknowledge the greatest teacher in my life, my mother, who passed away 10 years ago. Would you please join me in thanking all of the mothers who were here, who loved us, nurtured us, and who have taught us so much. And speaking of family, others wanted desperately to be here with you today, and some were unable to join us. In some special cases, these family members have been called to serve our great country. This high calling has caused some to miss this important day in your life. We are grateful for their service and their sacrifice. We also thank those members of the graduating class who serve this great nation. I would like to ask all of those in the arena who have served and those who are currently serving in our armed forces to please stand and accept our thanks. I know that some of the guests here today have returned to their alma mater to witness family and loved ones join them as Clemson alumni. If you are a graduate of this great university, please stand so that we can welcome you home to the upstate. I also want to recognize and thank our very talented faculty and dedicated staff whose commitment to excellence has helped to ensure your success here at Clemson. I would also like to extend my congratulations to any faculty or staff members who have furthered their education and are receiving their doctoral degrees today. In preparing for today's ceremony, I thought back about my own academic experience. I remember my elementary school teachers calling me professor because I was a very serious student and because I wanted to help others learn the subject matter. I remember my first day as an undergraduate student, sitting in the classroom, listening to my professor, and knowing that was exactly what I wanted to be. That was and still is my dream job. Little did I know at that time just how much effort and hard work it would take to qualify for my dream job. And I remember one of the most important lessons I learned from my parents, and that was the importance of a college education. My parents didn't have the opportunity to go to college due to financial constraints, but they did instill in me and my 3 older siblings the value of a quality education. They urged us to be passionate about the transformational, life-changing powers of education. We were the first generation in my family to go to college, and we were taught that education was a path to a better future, not just for an individual, but for society as a whole. And we listened. Between me and my 3 older siblings, we actually earned 11 college degrees, including 7 graduate degrees and 1 honorary doctorate. I believe one of the proudest days for my parents was the day that my brother and I both finished our PhDs side by side on stage. And I hope that today is equally as memorable and special for you. I would now like to ask the candidates for the doctoral degree to please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my immense pleasure to present the doctoral class of 2021. By the authority vested in me by the Clemson University Board of Trustees, I now confer upon you the doctoral degree with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto, and as testimony thereof, I present you with a doctorate from the university. Congratulations. You may be seated at this time. You'll please come forward with your major advisor or designee. I'll meet you on the stage, as the provost said, to officially congratulate you.
Joel Anthony Hamilton. Ana Cecilia Romero Vega. Nimisha Ideyi Lum. English Lane Ratliff. Yes. Robert Dawson Coffey. Lauren Amanda Hernandez Rubio. Michelle Ann Eichinger. Tuneen Haiduri. Rai Tali Shir-Eish Joshi. Charmaine Lavone Smalls Brown. Eric Reed Hamilton. Diane Mary Qualia Beltran. Karen Michelle Fredrickson. Lavanya Jane. Sarah Christine Beadle. Catherine Michelle Lucatus. Natalie Vanelli. Chloe A. Wilson. Amanda Megan McDougald Scott. Thomas Ray Clanton. Alexandra Sandoval. Teme Tope Mary Arugande Day. Shobaswita Basu. Majit Hemshimi. Shilpi Mukherjee. Jaejung Shin. Adam Barkley Witham. Laura Eicher. Kinyi Gao. Adeanju Oluwatusin Okumbawa. Hillary Renee Tank. Joshua Blake Barnes. Lashia A. Bowers. Rebecca Lynn Morgan. Jacqueline Nicole Williams. Karen Bunch Franklin. Arsenio Frankie Silva. Yi Chen. Maria Margarita Rodriguez Bruce. Jesse Daniel Rogers. Dongkai Zhu. Minjae Wu. MD Mahfuzul Islam. William Robert Locke, Jr. Xiaonan Zhang. Ali Arzani. Chase Gilbert Frizzell. John Junius Porter III. Mingyang Zhao. Devin Monroe Keck. Amir Malik. Sahand Sadeghi. Shervin Shwai Nani. Aiden Mikhail Sokolov. Katya Adine Hall. Anthony Daniel Santilli. Tyler J. Williams. Hui Zhu. Christina Lily Wilkinson. Kirsten Elise Anderson. Jason A. Kurz. Kumal Kumare. Yame Liu. Leah Marco Tully. Fanchen Meng. Rafael Luis Araujo de Mesquita. Indrajit Sen.
Would you please join me in congratulating our newest doctoral degree recipients? Congratulations again to each and every one of you. We know that you will make us proud, and more importantly, we know that you will make a difference in the world. I hope that your Clemson experience has been everything that you hoped it would be, and that we instilled in you the core values that we hold so dear: honesty, integrity, and respect. I hope that we challenged you and inspired you to think critically and to be engaged with your community and the world. You just earned your doctorate from a Carnegie Tier 1 research university, a very prestigious group of universities in the United States, classified as having the highest level of research activity. You leave this university with exceptional academic credentials, and I encourage you to use your talents and your education to make a positive difference. Some of you earned your undergraduate degree or your master's at Clemson, so you already know that a Clemson degree is highly regarded around the globe. And you know that the Clemson family is something very special and very real. For those of you who earned your previous degrees at another institution, today you become a Clemson alumnus and join a family with more than 162,000 members around the world. All of you are forever connected to this great university and to this community of scholars and to every member of the Clemson family. I challenge you to make sure that your life matters, and I ask you to use the incredible knowledge that you have gained and the research that you performed to make a positive impact on others. Congratulations again, and go Tigers!
Will you please stand and join in singing the Clemson Alma Mater? The words are printed on the last page of your program.
Where the tigers play, be the sons of dear old Clemson reign supreme alway. Dear old Clemson, we will triumph and with all our might.
Please remain standing if you are able for the recessional of the stage party.